It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's time for our Friday Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Agile Daily Stand Up. And I thought today I would talk a little bit about motivation. What are three of the key things that keep people feeling motivated at work and in general? I think that it's important for us to kind of hit this topic. It's been on my mind quite a bit, and I just thought I'd outline the top three things that I thought of. And I certainly welcome your feedback in the comments about other things that you think may have been missed in the list or things that should have been included. But keep in mind, it's only a top three, not a top 10. So here we go. Coming at number one, autonomy. The first thing that motivates people is definitely autonomy. For those of you who don't know what it is, autonomy refers to how much people feel in control of their own life and their ability to make their own choices. For example, in the context of work, autonomy means that people feel they have a say in what they work on and how they work on it. They don't like to feel micromanaged. They like to feel empowered. They like to feel like their voice matters and that they're making good choices. And when managers tend to show servant leadership, this type of autonomy really creates itself. But creating a sense of autonomy in an individual or a team can come in many forms. It could be by mutually assigning objectives or establishing deadlines. It could be giving people more freedom over where they work. Are they working from home or in the office? Or incorporating team and individuals into the decision making efforts more often, making sure that people are involved early in the process instead of only involving them when there's a deadline for work to be done. So, one easy way to judge whether you're leading from a place of autonomy versus a place of control is to pay attention to feedback or coaching conversations with the team. So, for example, pay attention to how many times you find yourself giving a team advice versus asking them questions and letting them fill you in on what's going on. If you're giving advice or telling people how to do something, that means you're diminishing their sense of autonomy. You're diminishing their ability to feel freedom to do and deliver the things that they need to do. But if you find that you're asking a whole lot of questions that are designed to guide the team to finding their own solutions instead of you constantly providing the solutions, then in that case, you are on your way to autonomy. So there you go. So I thought that was a good one to lead with, and it just makes sense. It's just perfect. All right. People like to have control. Coming in at number two is competence. The second motivational driver to success is definitely competence. So, competence refers to our desire to seek control, but also our desire to experience mastery. We want to feel like we become the master of our destiny and a master of what we do. Competence speaks to our natural human desire to be good learners and to grow and feel like we're making a difference, that we're making progress on our journey. It could be progress in our careers, it could be progress in our family life, progress towards a set of objectives or goals or working objectives or things that we have in the fire that we're trying to brew there. It could be anything that helps an individual feel like you're moving towards a mastery level of something. It could be mastering being a better parent, mastering having better relationships. Any of those things all fall under the category of competence. So, creating a sense of competence in an individual or in a team is more about, or it should be more about, what you don't do. Much of the job of a team leader is providing feedback or constructive criticism, but sometimes constructive or negative criticism has been found in numerous studies to decrease a person's feelings of competence and thus reduces their motivation. So rather than focusing on constructive feedback, make sure you're taking time to celebrate big wins or small wins and always lead with positive feedback and praise. But make sure that you ask the question, help me understand. Make sure the team knows that you're not just trying to shut them down, that you really do care and that you really want to know and that you really do want to understand where they are. A lot of times I find myself saying, help me understand how this is going to help us succeed, or help me understand why this is important to you. Help me understand what's the driving factor or driving force behind this decision. Help me understand what we can do together as a team to get there. Help me understand how this is going to help us get one step closer to the finish line. And I think that when I use the help me understand metaphor, it makes it a whole lot easier for teams to express themselves and know that their voice is being heard and not just discounted. All right, how about number three? Number three is relatedness. So, relatedness is when it's when we connect to others well. So I think it's how well we connect to others and how well we interact and care for other people. People really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. In terms of research, we've really just only begun to start digging in and understanding how important relatedness is to each other and to a product or service. One of the things that the Walt Disney Company does is they have something called the loyalty connection as part of their Disney Management Institute training. And the loyalty connection teaches us what connects us to a product or to a business or to a brand, right? So it ties back to marketing and it ties back to how we do things. But I think it's really important for humans to understand that whether we say we're social or not, whether we say we're introvert or extrovert, that we do all have to have some type of conscious relatedness to each other. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be the socialite or completely pro social, but it does mean that we have to understand that people are people and that sometimes other people need help. So, creating a sense of relatedness is making sure people build the right connections. But in addition to that, it also means making sure people know the significance of what they're being asked to do and how it relates to the whole team or the product or to our organization's North Star, bigger picture. How do we use that as a measuring stick up against success? It's not always easy, but it's something that we should always consider and always do. This is not about reiterating a company's mission statement or pushing forward with a vision. It's about creating connections between that mission or vision and specific people who are served when the mission is accomplished. So, if you think that you've got it all here, and you're like, this is interesting, there's something that has not been discussed so far, and that's the motivating factor of money, right? We haven't talked about salaries or extra perks like free food in the office or a keg in the office or a refrigerator, depending on where you work. Um, the truth is, we don't know how many hours people are working from home or from an office or a hybrid model of both. But we want to make sure we engage people and make sure they're motivated to come back to the workplace if it's open. We want to make sure that things are great and that they know things are great. A lot of times we have the idea of what we need to do, and it's just one of those things where if we're not focused on what we really should be doing for motivation, if we're not focused on celebrating success, treating individuals with dignity and respect, and really just understanding the importance of autonomy and competence as well as relatedness, then we're going to suffer with a lack of knowing what to do. So, my challenge for you this weekend is to try to find a way to quiz yourself and ask, do I feel like I'm in an autonomous way? Can I make decisions on my own? Can I have control of what I'm doing? Or do I always have to rely on somebody else to tell me what to do? Then you can ask yourself, how well are we connected? How well do we work with each other? Are we related? And then finally, with a level of competence, how well do I know what I do? Do I have competence and confidence to do the things I'm being asked to do? If you have those three things, it's going to help you be successful in life and it's going to help you really press forward. So that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have an amazing weekend. We will see you on Monday. Until then, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.